Today, I'm going to be taking a look at a report by the WEF. It's called the Future of Jobs Report, and it's quite scary, to be honest. If you don't know who the WEF are, they are made up of all the most powerful people in the world. They get together once a year to discuss what is going to be happening in the world going forward. And whatever they say in these reports or predict normally comes true. It's more like a movie script than it is a prediction, because they are the higher powers that run the world. This report was released 30th of April, so a couple of weeks ago. So it's still fresh off the press. We have still got time to do something about this. It's not a very nice day today. It looks like it's going to absolutely hammer it down. Look at the sky. Now, this was a 296-page document, which I bored myself going through, so you don't have to. I highlighted the key points. Obviously, I'm going to throw screenshots up on the screen as well, just so you can see what I am talking about. So let's begin and see if your job is safe from the AI, the artificial intelligence, and the robot takeover. You might be surprised. Now, all the stats in this report come from 803 companies that collectively employ 11.3 million people and across 27 different industries in 45 economies. So this is who they've asked. This is where all the stats come from. So it's quite a wide range of people that they have asked. Right then, I'm going to walk up this steep hill. So if I get out of breath, you know why. Starts off by saying agricultural technologies, digital platforms, apps, e-commerce, digital trade and AI are going to cause significant disruption in the labour market. They use the word significant. That's quite scary. Not a little disruption, significant. And then it says with substantial proportions of companies forecasting job displacement in their organisations. Again, substantial. That is a big word, isn't it? It is for me anyway. And the predictions in this report are for the next 5 years. So you could start seeing layoffs in your company very, very soon. Just got to the top of this big hill, out of breath, so unfit at the minute. But look at those lovely views. Gorgeous, aren't they? And no, not this one. They are predicting that AI and robots are going to start replacing humans in the workplace, which has been coming for a while now, so I'm not really surprised. But over the next 5 years, they are expecting this to happen at a faster rate. Over the 673 million jobs reflected in this report, people and companies asked are expecting 69 million new jobs to be created, but they're expecting 83 million jobs to be lost. So more jobs are going to be lost and created, and that is a decrease of 14 million jobs. And put that into perspective, that is 2% of the current workforce. So it is going to cause some massive disruption, isn't it? Now, here's another crazy stat. 34% of all business tasks are performed by machines already, with only 66% performed by humans. That is absolutely insane already, and it's only going to get worse. And by 2027, they're expecting 42% of all business tasks to be run by machines. That nearly half. That is insane. Personally, I think this number is going to be much higher. They're obviously just playing it down a bit to stop scaring people. I mean, we are seeing this now, aren't we, in supermarkets with a self-service checkout. Look how many jobs they've taken off people. Obviously, you need nobody to man them. Well, you need one person, don't you, to verify your ID if you're buying something over the age of 18. But you only need one person to oversee about 20 machines, don't you? So it's taken 19 jobs off people already. So if you can, always avoid the self-service checkouts. I know they are handy, they're quick, they're convenient, but they are taking jobs. If people stop using them, then obviously they're going to stop putting more and more in, aren't they? It will keep people's jobs. I mean, there's even unstaffed stores popping up now. The first one was opened in Sweden, so you don't need anybody there. You only need staff to restock the shelves, and I think robots are going to be doing that in the future as well. Morrison's in the UK are starting to do this as well. They are testing it out. Unstaffed stores. So you download an app, you walk in, you put the items in your bag, and they've got a high-tech CCTV that checks what you are putting in your bag to make sure you are not stealing. So again, you don't even need security guards. And again, they're saying they only need staff to stack the shelves, which will be done by robots in the future, mark my words. Nice little swamp behind me. Don't know if Shrek's in there. Shrek, get out me swamp, donkey. There you go, he's in there. AI is expected to be adopted by 75% of companies surveyed in this report. Now, 50% of them expect it to create jobs and 25% of them expect it to create job losses. This bit is a bit rubbish, because if a business is bringing in AI technology, they're bringing it in because it can save them money. And how are they going to save money? by fucking the staff off. So I'd expect these figures to be the opposite way round. I would expect 50% of them to think that it's going to lead to job losses. Again, they're probably just saying this so it doesn't scare their workers. At the end of the day, AI and robots will do the same job that a human will do, but it will do it 10 times faster and it will be 10 times cheaper. So why wouldn't these money-hungry businesses bring them in? Morning. All right. Now let's take a look at the jobs and industries that are going to fly or die, so you can decide whether to change job or not. Get ahead of the game. Bloody hell, it's muddy around here. Cool that. Could have a nice mud bath. No surprise here, the industry that's going to grow the most, technology-related roles. So it might be worth doing some research into AI, figuring out how it all works, because if you've got that skill set, then you'll always be able to get a job. Morning. Just recording my YouTube video, yeah. Just about the economy and that, called Hidden Truth. Fastest declining roles, very, very interesting. It includes bank tellers. So basically people that work in a bank, handling cash or just anything. I mean, the banks are failing now anyway, but when you go into a bank, you don't even need to see a person to deposit money into your account. I went in the other day and I says, can I deposit some money? She goes, yeah, follow me to the machine. So I went to the machine, put my card in, put my cash in the machine, and it was in my bank straight away. So you don't even need people for that now. I only put money in the bank to pay bills. I do not hold money in these corrupt organisations. So if you've got a lot of money in the bank, this is not financial advice, but it would be best to withdraw a lot of that, buy silver and gold, because over time that has been proven to be real money. Anywhere in the world, if you go to Africa or Australia, and you've got none of their currency, and you've got a silver coin, I always keep a silver coin on me at all times. There, look. Yeah, 1 ounce, solid silver coin. You just never know when you might need it. Like I say, if you go to Australia, South Africa, and you want to buy some bread, you haven't got their currency, they will accept a silver coin. That's an expensive loaf of bread, but they will accept it. You will always be able to trade silver to get items that you want. Now, this bank debt is going to lead to banking collapse that you have never, ever witnessed before. It's going to be a massive disaster. And this is when they will start introducing the CBDCs, central bank digital currency. Now, these are all about control as well. They will have total control over your money when these CBDCs come in. They will tell you what you're allowed to buy, what you're allowed to spend. They will know exactly what you are doing at every point of the day. It is all about control. And they will be able to cut access to your money if they disagree with anything you've said. Say you said something on Facebook, you're a bit outspoken like me. They see it, they don't like it. They'll be like, right, we're cutting his money off now. And I've also heard that these CBDCs, they will give you a time limit on the money. So if you've got money in there, you've got to spend it within a 4-week time limit, or else it expires and goes away. Robbing bastards. Another stat I don't agree with, it says jobs in education will increase 10%. Now, for me, this is bullshit, because AI and a robot can teach a class. An AI robot can learn in 10 minutes what it takes a human to learn in 10 years. So they could just have a robot teaching the class, couldn't they? Standing at the front of the class and teaching the class, which will eliminate the need for a teacher. So I don't know where they've got this from. Technology's already taken over, innit? In some schools, they have iPads instead of pens and papers. You can learn everything you need to know from Google and AI. I mean, I'm going to show you a screen recording in a minute. Just look what ChatGPT is. If you don't know what it is, go take a look. It is amazing, but it is going to be the downfall of a lot of jobs. You can get it to do absolutely anything as long as you know how to prompt it. And it does it within seconds. You can get it to write you a 50-page story if you want, and it will be totally random. It will make sense. And you can even prompt it to put your name in. You can prompt it to what you want the story about. It's absolutely insane. So this is the scary AI, ChatGPT. I'm not sure how it's going to show up on the screen. It says there, this is what I've prompted it to do. Write me a 1,000-word story about a man named Greg who didn't like the royal family. I put go into detail about how he visited Buckingham Palace and punched the king. Let's see, let's press enter and we'll watch it work. So we can see here, look, it's writing me the story. Greg had never been a fan of the royal family. He thought they were nothing more than a bunch of rich entitled people. And it continues to go on. So it will write me a 1,000-word story. This is absolutely insane. As the king's car pulled up, the crowd erupted into cheers and applaud. Greg felt a sense of disgust wash over him. See, it's absolutely crazy. As the king began to make his way towards the palace, Greg stepped forward and shouted, "You don't deserve to be king." See, and it's continuing. This is how scary it is. A 1,000-word story about exactly what I prompted it about. You're not going to need story writers, are you? Or descriptive writers. There you go, I'll stop it now because we'll be going forever. But just look at the screen recording, it wrote me a story. A lot of school kids are getting it to do the homework as well. Now, I don't suggest you do this, but it'll be a lot easier, save you a lot of time, won't it? Absolutely crazy. So can you imagine how many jobs this is going to take? You don't even need to be creative anymore. So story writers might go. Copywriters and creative writing jobs, they will go. I'll do another video on ChatGPT in the future because it is very, very interesting. Also on the job growth list due to technology is agricultural equipment operators, e-commerce specialists, and all things digital. So if you want job security, then I suggest that you go take a look into one of these career paths because that's where most of the jobs are going to be. They predict that 26 million jobs will be lost by 2027 in the areas highlighted in the screenshot. So try and avoid them areas. Now I'm going to take a look at what sort of people these businesses are going to be looking to employ due to their DEI program, which stands for diversity, equity and inclusion. This just basically stops them getting sued by people who think that they are being racist, sexist, stuff like that, because the world has gone absolutely crazy. You can't even call a gingerbread man anymore without anybody getting offended. Snowflakes. So just take a look at the screenshot. Basically, if you're a young black woman with a disability who is sexually confused and questions their gender, and you've also got a bank balance of 0, then there is 100% you will get offered the job. So if you fit that description, go apply for a job in one of these sectors. Unemployment has actually fallen since 2020, but it is only a matter of time with the introduction of technology, AI, robots, all the stuff I've been talking about, that this skyrockets to levels never ever seen before. I mean, if you walk down a high street now, all the shops are closed. There's only a handful of shops open, and this is because people are taking their business online because, again, they don't have to pay staff, they don't have to pay rent. It just makes sense. And in the next 5 years, there's going to be, I don't even think there'll be any town centres, to be honest. They'll just be like ghost towns. At the moment, South Africa's taking the hit the worst, with a 30% unemployment rate. That is absolutely insane. All the other countries you could see in the screenshot have low levels of unemployment after the spike in the scamdemic when everybody was forced to shut down, apart from the big companies. This next stat is interesting but not surprising. It said businesses are finding it hard to hold on to workers, with 1 in 5 people saying they are looking at switching their jobs in the next year. I mean, there's a good old saying, isn't there? Look after your workers and they'll look after you. The problem is, in this economy, businesses, they're looking for cheap labour. And they know if somebody doesn't want to do the work, there is always somebody out there looking for a job that will come in and do it. People are easily replaced. They are just numbers to big companies that make them a lot of money. And that is why staff turnover is so high. This next screenshot says, the global economy started experiencing inflation levels not seen in almost 40 years. Don't we just know it, people? It's like the economy swallowed a massive Viagra pill. It's not just the crackheads that are shooting up around here. The bourbon biscuits are doing it as well. It says that current world inflation is sitting at 3.5%. I think we all know it's a bit higher than that, isn't it? In the crash of 2008, it was sitting at 8.95%. And to be honest, that's where we're heading, aren't we? Inflation is not going to come down anytime soon. So just expect the worst. Again, everything is adding up to them bringing in a digital currency. When the economy crashes, this is when it's going to happen. House prices are going to fall. Everything is just going to burst. And then they're going to be overnight. They're just going to be introducing this digital currency that will control you. Also, for the first time in 15 years, real wages have dropped by 0.9%. Now, real wages are basically the purchasing power of your wages after factoring in the current inflation rate. So say, for example, you earn £20 an hour and you want to buy as many £1 sweets as you can with that £20. In a low inflation economy, which we are definitely not in, you can buy 20 packs. In high inflation, these packs of sweets go up to £1.25. So you can only buy 16 packs with your 1 hour wage of £20. The cost of the product has gone up, your wages have stayed the same, so you have less purchasing power. I hope that made sense. Now, real wages are a real good indicator of the economy's health and strength. In Africa, real wages took a 10.5% drop. That is insane, that's unheard of. But in Asia, real wages have continued to increase. This is just increasing China's position in the world to become the world power rather than America. Not surprisingly, purchasing power has declined for the poor, and this could push around 71 million people into poverty. Now, I expect this again to be a lot higher. They are just dumbing it down, so people do not get worried. But in the UK today, there are around 14 million people living in poverty alone, which is around 22% of our population. That is absolutely massive number. Now, this one was interesting. I highlighted permanent models of social protection. This is them basically telling you that they want to introduce this CBDC. But again, I will go over that in another video. They just tell you in plain sight that they want to introduce these models of protection, so they call it. 61% of people are worried that their wages are not high enough to keep with the cost of living. Again, I was expecting this number to be slightly higher than it is. 61% is a big number, but the world is in chaos at the minute and everybody is struggling. So 61% seems a bit low to me. It will only get worse as well with rising inflation and staff turnover, because everybody's always looking for that job that pays them more money, aren't they? I mean, I've never run a big business before, but it is only common sense. If the bosses took a slight pay cut and passed this down to the workers, that would make them happy, it would keep them in their job, and it would also make them more productive. They will feel like they owe their bosses something, so they'll need to work that little bit harder. It's just really dumb how these businesses are run, to be honest. It's really that simple, isn't it? I mean, if I was a worker and he come to me and says, here, you're having a pay rise, my dopamine levels are going to go up, I'm going to like my boss a bit more, so I'm going to work harder. Knock-on effect. Now, the scamdemic massively changed the workplace and how people like to work, because everybody was working from home in their birthday suits, pigging out on a McDonald's breakfast, watching Antiques Roadshow whilst doing a bit of work on a computer. Now, people like freedom. They grew to like this way of working because they had that freedom. So when it was time to go back into the workplace, people didn't like it, which is why 83% of people now prioritize jobs that give them flexible hours and flexible locations, because this is what they were doing in the scamdemic. So now, if a job does not offer these two things, people are more likely to pass on it and find one that does. People also not wanting to go into the office and work from the office is going to cause a massive commercial real estate crash, because nobody's going to be wanting to buy offices anymore. So the price of them is going to go down. And that will be a massive, massive problem for the banks, because the amount of loans that banks have lent out for people to buy these properties, they're not going to be able to get that back once the price drops, crashes. Accommodation, food, leisure, consumer goods, they're experiencing slower growth rate since the scamdemic. Of course they are. People haven't got the spare cash to go and eat out anymore, to go out and do nice things, to buy nice things, have they? So it's obviously not going to recover until inflation falls. Again, that's just common sense. Another interesting stat is 19% of workers could have over 50% of their tasks automated by AI and robots. That is insane. The labour market is going to crash, and they're telling you that it is going to crash in this document, but not a lot of people read it. And AI is developing that fucking fast. It is scary. This could happen in the next couple of years. So AI and robots, they really are going to take over the world. And that's not just me scaring you. The WEF are telling you in this document that it's going to happen. The sectors that they're going to take most jobs in is electronics, with 83% of businesses looking to utilise them in this sector. Energy, tech and utilities, 72% of businesses looking to utilise them. And consumer goods, 71%. So that will be in factories and things like that. Ever wondered how many robots are actually in your workplace? Well, I'm going to tell you. The number of industrial robots per 10,000 has continued to rise rapidly over the last 5 years. And for every 10,000 workers, there is on average 126 robots. That's an insane stat. But again, with the advance of AI and technology, it's going to rise quicker than a Virgin in a strip club. There's no doubt that it's going to happen. Robots and AI are going to take over the workplace. They'll take over the world. But hopefully in this video, I've just given you an insight into what sectors to get into, what your next job might be, and just go out there and learn how AI works. You'll have a competitive edge over your competition when the time comes. So if you did like that, please like, comment, share, subscribe. If you didn't like it, that's just 5 to 10 minutes you've wasted of your life that you will never get back. And I'll see you in the next one.